Welcome, citizens of Norwood. My name is Tom Whittington. I am a longtime resident of Norwood. I live with my parents, Jim and Rita Whittington, on Indian Mound Avenue. I attended Saints Peter and Paul Grade School, Purcell High School, Cincinnati Technical College, and the University of Cincinnati. I have been married to my wife, Darlene, for 40 years. Darlene and I raised two of our children, Tim, who is married to Laura Whittington, and Amy, who is married to Josh Metters. We are the proud grandparents to Aiden, Olivia Ainsley, all who live in Norwood. I worked 28 years in the private sector in a manufacturing engineering role. 18 of those years with the Alice Chalmers Corporation, purchased by the ITT Corporation. I specialize in revitalization of factories through modernization and flow control, managing both union and non-union workforces and complying with budgetary constraints. An additional 8 years were traveling around the country and the world helping other facilities upgrade their technologies. Upon leaving the private sector, I purchased properties in Norwood for both rental and rehabilitation. I believe I am qualified for this position due to my experience in the private sector, managing people and controlling budgets. I have managed the upgrade of facilities with over $60 million in capital equipment justification and procurement. I have negotiated contracts with vendors and workforces to maintain a profitable organization. I've been a councilman in this fine city of Norwood for the last 4 years. The first two, I was elected to represent Ward 3. The last 2 years, I was elected to represent Norwood as a whole in the position of council at large. I have again decided to run for the continued service to the city of Norwood at the same position of council at large. Our city has been in survival mode. I want to see the city start to change its attitude and begin to thrive. I want our property values to grow and pride reinstated to our community. I am tired of seeing empty buildings, closed or cut back services, and our neighbors putting their houses on the market and moving to other communities. Together, we can make a difference. During my tenure with the city, I have served on the Finance and Claims Committee. We have been charged with creating a budget to make this city work. It is the same story over and over. Each year, we start with a deficit. All is not doom and gloom. I will touch more on the financial situation a little later in this presentation. I believe basic services such as police, fire, public works, senior services, health, buildings, parks, and recreation are all essential for the development of our community. These groups are here for the taxpaying citizens of Norwood and must coexist equally within the budget. I would like to share with you some facts from the Norwood Auditor's website. Since 2008, our economy has declined every year. In 2008, we started the year with a surplus of $3.9 million. In 2009, that shrank to $2.2 million. The following January 2010, the surplus diminished to $2.17 million. In January of 2011, we were down to $578,000. In 2012, brought our first deficit of $59,000. 2013, that deficit reached $1.3 million, and in 2014, a little less than $1 million. As you can see, we are spending money faster than it's coming in. In 2013, we borrowed money from private investors, the total of $1.7 million. The $1.7 million came due in 2015. This year, we borrowed $1.2 million from a private bank to pay off the $1.7 million debt. We also have bonds of $2 million. This debt is paid off at an annual rate of $285,000 per year until 2022. I would like to review with you with some charts pulled from the auditor's website. First chart shows revenue and expenditures for the years 2008 through 2014. The other three charts use the year 2014 as an example. The first chart, general fund revenue and general fund expenses. As you can see, in 2008, we started with $21,284,000, 2009, $22,067,000, 2010, $19,911,000, 2011, $18,868,000, 2012, $18,054,000, 2013, $20,162,000, 2014, $19,564,000. And as far as expenditures, 2008, $22,668,000, 2009, $22,067,000, 2010, $21,488,000, 2011, $19,428,000, 2012, $18,082,000, 2013, $19,429,000, and 2014, $19,454,000. In 2014, the greatest revenue source for the general fund was our earnings tax receipts, increased while we continued to experience a decrease in our intergovernmental revenue. From 2008 to 2014, the decrease in intergovernmental revenue of $187,000 in tangible personal property tax, $479,000 in House 3 Bill 66 reimbursements for TTP reduction, $232,000 in inheritance tax, and $419,000 in local government funds. 2013 was the final year the city will achieve regular revenue from the inheritance tax. In 2013, the city implemented a local hotel tax, which generated $180,000 in 2014. The city began receiving funds from a SAFER grant to compensate the hiring of 6 new firefighters, which generated $434,000 in 2014 and projected to be $528,000 in 2015. Overall, the city's greatest expense was personnel-related expenditures at $16,583,000, which is 81% of the general fund revenue, with the largest departments being police and fire. The greatest revenue source being local earnings tax and admission taxes at $14,521,000, an increase of $973,000 from 2013. Increases in expenses over 2013 were mainly due to expenses incurred in 2014 and paid in 2014, such as pension payments, longevity, and training pay, as well as payments to the C9 Trust and retirees' health care and final quarter 2013 vendor charges. Overtime composed 3.5% of all the general fund personnel expenses, totaling $571,000, which is an increase from $41,000 from 2014. The city's largest 2 departments, police and fire, were the largest recipients of overtime. The 2014 total health care cost for the general fund was $3,104,000. The city spent or encumbered $2,105,000 on health care and dental and optical benefits for its current employees, and $450,000 on retirees' health care, with an additional $549,000 for the C9 Trust Fund. This represents 18% of the total expenses. The city ended 2014 with total encumbrances of $1,098,000, carrying significant financial obligations into 2015. In a cost-saving measure, the fire and police departments operated a decreased level of minimum manpower staff requirements in 2013 and 2014. These returned to their regular contractual levels in 2015. The city's health department continues to operate with diminishing staffing levels. The next chart, 2012 general fund revenue sources. 2% is our normal earnings taxes in the city of Norwood. The new companies, example CDK, I-Square, Paycor, were awarded reduction in the earnings taxes to 1% as incentive to move their businesses here. Property taxes equate to 9 cents on the dollar. That is returned to the city of Norwood from Hamilton County. To further understand your property taxes, go to visit the auditor's website and click on the big red button. The breakdown is as follows for your revenue sources. 2012 general fund expenditures and expenditures of the general fund are broken down as follows. The general fund revenue, if you take a look, the city council is $75,000, clerk of council $38,000, the mayor $61,000, clerk of clerks $122,000, law department $229,000, auditor $266,000, treasurer $144,000, tax department $340,000, civil service $22,000, safety service director $111,000, building department $392,000, superintendent of public works $114,000, city garage $179,000, community center $165,000, the public L&B $494,000, parks $18,000, dispatch $698,000, health department $370,000, police department $6,817,000, fire department $7,239,000, and miscellaneous expenses of $2,438,000. We take a look at the next chart on kind of gives you an example of miscellaneous expenses. The retiree's health care is $549,000. C9 trust is $450,000. State examiner's fee $76,000. County auditor and treasurer $1,000. Advertising $41,000. Settlement of claims $158,000. Outstanding legal fees $41,000. Earnings tax refunds $316,000. Insurance $360,000. Subsidy recreation fund $35,000. EMS transfers $137,000. Subsidy department service $229,000. And separation pay $246,000. I hope this gives you a little better understanding of the financial conditions of our city. This information and all the associated details can be found on the auditor's website, www.norwoodauditor.com. The website gives you a lot of good information. In visiting this site, you can ask the auditor questions. If you click on the big red button, there's information regarding where your taxes go, your water bill breakdown, how the city spends your money, etc. A tremendous amount of good information. You as taxpayers should know this information and know where to go to find it. This also gives you ammunition to ask your elected officials the right questions. When it comes to this election in November, ask yourselves if the system is working. Are you doing the best possible job at collecting and boosting revenue? Where are your grant writers? After 8 years of a declining economy, the administration of this city has done very little to make adjustments. I have heard the excuse that the state has cut off our funds. This is true in the tone of $800,000 annually. Shouldn't we have made adjustments to compensate for this loss? If we had these funds back in, are we going to have our streets repaired, our health department in full strength, a stronger recreation commission, our city hall refurbished, our housing rehabbed and filled with new families? Think about it. I don't want to speak totally of doom and gloom. There's a lot of good developments going on in the city. Hotel, office buildings, medical buildings, etc. Later they will start to generate more revenue. I want to see the small business owners, developers, rehabbers, landlords come into the city by storm and work on our neighborhoods. They will improve our community and increase our land values. Programs should be in place to reward this type of activity. It will pay off in the future. The city of Norwood has a long uphill battle. It starts with the leadership that you elect and the staff they choose to work with. I'm looking forward to continue serving the citizens of Norwood on the City Council. Please remember me on November 3rd. Thank you.